Alrighty, welcome back, lads, to another episode of my Jerusalem playthrough. Portugal integrated by 42% and Spain integrated by 56.6%. We were seeming to integrate Portugal rapido, as they are less than half the size of the Spanish. And we're beginning to lose many Diplo points again, still losing Diplo points despite having the reputation hit of effectively 2 from having effectively 100% overextension. But I'll tell you what, guys, we're really on the homeward stretch here. And last episode, I noticed that Flanders he's always had obnoxiously good diplomacy, but he's faltered in that regard right now. He's no longer a tributary of Ming, and his guarantee from Bachmanis is not going to be held up. I broke his alliance with the Papal State, and we're going to go ahead and declare this war, because if it's not the most efficient era, if you will, of spending admin points, I don't mind with that last admin efficiency. This is a good time to fight a war like this, and hopefully got some troops here. I know he's got some colonies. Hopefully our... Yeah, that's his capital. Alright. Hopefully our subjects will do most of the work, including our colonial nations. 45 heavies! God dang it. How... I mean, his trade must be shocking. How's the, hopefully our Australian colonies can, like, distract him to allow us to get onto New Guinea. 45 heavies. I'm just wondering how the AI is so wealthy economically there. It's impressive. He's so weak. I'm wondering if we can just sneak over here. It's wait, what? I'm not holding the navy, am I? Let's wait till the end of the month. It's not that unrealistic to get through, I don't think, at some stage. Just try to avoid him. He will be intimidated by our navy, you know. So that guy can be annexed. This I want to hand off to French Columbia. And this dude can be separate pieced, I guess. We could break his alliance with Brandy if we wanted. But yeah, otherwise, I was noticing Delhi, our truce with Delhi is coming up here very soon. Did it come up already? What? No, there we go. Soon, very soon. And he is involved in that. So look at him, he looks pretty vulnerable. Perhaps Khorasan will not back him up here, so it doesn't prolong our truce with him. Although it's over 5 years. Some of this, yeah, this is low dev. I could definitely separate piece that for a small amount of Diplo points and take a big chunk out of Delhi. I think that's what we're going to be doing here next, sort of our next big war. It's mostly inside a trading company. That one I forgot about. A couple need converting here. And actually integrating Portugal will be nice for that trading company in Zanzibar. I think that would do it for us, probably. It would also top off our influence to be basically 100 here, which gives us more power downstream. So I need some... Oh, geez. That's 2 stacks, I suppose. I need some troops that will have to do us to deal with rebels. Otherwise, we can move out here. And mostly this area is looking stable, which is good. It's basically the Horn of Africa here in Africa. Once we stable up a few more regions, hopefully, we never really have to be in Africa ever again. Okay, this is okay, mostly transports. Should be fine to retreat here, but I'm wondering, will it allow me to go here? I think it will, right? Yep, sweet. Got him. Got him! Get gotted. He got gotified. That's gonna be his capital falling. These guys are pathetically weak at land. Flanders is basically all in on the navy, which is understandable. It's an understandable approach to take in his circumstance. It's actually pretty strong, guys. Like in multiplayer games, I've noticed if you, you know, own all of like Southeast Asia, if you just go full naval mode, like prioritize it over your actual land units, kind of playing tall on the islands, it's pretty cool. Somebody around here must have some form of naval-oriented ideas, right? Don't be your heavies. It seems to have caught me out here. That's annoying. Gonna lose some of these light ships. No, we're good. Cool. His transports did not defeat us. Feels good, man. Alrighty. So, does he have a fort here? No, he doesn't. Oh, make sure it's the right one. French Columbia. Yeah. We're going to empower him, whose capital is down here in Brazil. Not as ideal as the Caribbean, but that's okay. Okay, guys, this episode, let's talk about, and I'm serious, by the way, because you guys know that I'm ignorant, right? Hope you guys know that. Is it Caribbean, or is it Caribbean, or is it both? Because I don't know. I don't know, but I hear both all the time. If I had to guess, it would be Caribbean. Or both. So I just want to state for the record also. Ooh, what was that? Imperialism against who? Should have read it. I just thought for a second it said Canada. That's why I'm looking out here, but it might have been. I mean, it happens every now and then. A nation generates due to rebels or something. But I thought it said Canada. I was like, what? Imperialism against Canada. Yeah, somebody commented that Germans are also nice, and I 100% agree, concur. There's too many nice people, guys. There's too many nice people. Can't cover them all. I was using French as an example, actually, in my rant. But I 100% agree, and I also think they're underratedly nice, right? Because everybody's like, oh, Germans are bad. It's like, as if. You're bad. That's what I say, and then I slap the taste out of their mouth. And then I say, I'm nice. Followed by some colourful superlatives. So they say, I'm sorry. You're nice. That's what happens. Oh, I hate influenzas. We have to quarantine its phase. Get quarantified. Stupid wasteland. You guys know one thing that kind of irritates me? I like the institutes to a degree. I actually like the mechanic, how they work. I think like in the game terms, it's cool. God, I can't select that guy. I think in game terms, it's cool. But it's kind of ridiculous, right? How by the end of the game, every nation catches up. Like the Congo, for example. Congo is like teched up, even if you don't influence the game as a player. There's definitely a lot of that, which is worth taking into consideration. Like, you influence the game massively when you play this game. Because if you notice, the AI typically, like if you leave Spain to their own accord, they try to deal with North Africa, and for example, Portugal will colonize West Africa, for example, and they try to deal with West Africa. So the nations, they're much more kind of oriented to where they will focus out areas. And if that is the case, well, those areas don't exist, but it's pretty effective. I've done it myself to where institutes are kind of spreading, and then you conquer the provinces where the institutes have spread, and the nation remains sort of bastardized. But players very often, regardless of what you're doing, oh, hello. Okay, if I'm at peace, I could grant that to somebody, anybody. That doesn't matter. Players will very often be like, give me that! And then, give me that! And then, get a border with somebody and give me an island, and then go to Southeast Asia, and then when you accept the institutes, it spreads everywhere. But with that being said, even it's accelerated very often by a player if they're trying to do shenanigans. That's what I'm trying to say. But very often, the institutes spread unreasonably, period. I think it's quite silly. I've thought about that a lot. Everybody at the end of the game has just accepted everything, right? The last two institutes are kind of global. Like the Enlightenment and manufacturers, and also global trade. The last three are somewhat global and not geared to any specific region. And yeah, so typically areas are behind on printing press and colonialism very often, if they're right out in the middle of nowhere. But they develop and they own their own trading areas very often, and there's a big area where they're kind of behind. Everybody's behind. They're waiting to accept, and then they just accept everything, and then they have epic catch-up mechanics. And by the end of the game, they're like on par with it because the AI doesn't spend all its time spending monarch points conquering the world, and it will develop and stuff. Doesn't seem perfectly ideal. This one can go to New Granada. Jesus, so many dudes. Found them. Yeah, and I've thought about a lot of that in context of Ming. Ming, from my experience, due to having the tributaries, and the fact that he can pretty much afford good advisors from the beginning of the game, he like never falls behind in tech. Not really. Maybe by one or so. For the same reason, because the AI doesn't really conquer the world. He doesn't spend copious amounts of admin points doing stuff, and therefore he's just so teched up. And it's kind of silly. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of silly. I'd like to see a little bit more, you know, life's not easy, guys. It's not equal. Not everybody's born equal. I'm sorry to say. We got a merchant from somewhere. Where was it? Was it from owning occupation somewhere? Might be here. Let's check out East Africa. Yeah, cool. Finally in Zanzibar. That's pretty much one of my biggest peeves, guys. Real talk. Real talk. Some people, they have this attitude like it's not one of my biggest peeves, but it's just gets on my nerves sometimes. People are just like, man, work hard, you know, do good, be nice to people, you know, put your nose down, work hard, and, you know, everything will work out. But that mentality, it promotes it works the other way around, right? People like that. I feel like they think that if you're not successful, you didn't work hard, or you weren't nice. You know, karma got you, this kind of thing. Which is not the case. It's like objectively not the case. Like, you can just be born somewhere and you're screwed, and like that thought process is so easily broken down and destroyed. It's just like, look, man, you're born in the Philippines, GG. You got it. And most people are reasonable enough to be like, oh, good point. But there's a lot of people who think that way. The opposite way. Which is just work hard, hustle, and everything will work out well. Yeah, do we care about the fact that he's allied to Commonwealth? I'm kind of don't like that guarantee with the Commonwealth. What are you doing, man? I want to take the HRE. But the most sensible thing to do to attack the HRE is just to smash Brandy, because he's going to make attacking the HRE a nuisance every time. He's got enough troops to be a nuisance. But with that guarantee, oh boy. That's not going to be fun. I don't know. I don't think it matters, though. The Commonwealth could just ally someone like Bavaria instead. If we break his relation slots. So, I'm not sure if we can fully annex Flanders. I'm wondering if any of the stuff he has forts on, we can't fully annex him due to war score. It's okay. I was trying to recall, guys, into my tiny little brains why it is that I started ranting on the first place. It's funny how a lot of you guys, like, some people like disagree with me or whatever, but a lot of you guys seem to like my rants, which is funny. Everybody's requesting for the Gordon Ramsay rants, but I don't know. I don't want to go overboard. I just wanted to say that he's, you know, I think I made my point. That's all. Real life's not how it seems sometimes, guys. Like, somebody who's like a really good chef, he like is perceived as a really good chef by you, but like, no offense, but you might not know anything about chefing, right? About being a chef, because you're focusing your efforts elsewhere. So basically, again, not meant to be offensive, but you're like not an expert on who's a good chef, right? So therefore your interpretation of who's a good chef is not very good. But then how are you supposed to trust some random individual, right? Everybody's got egos, everybody blah blah blah. Somebody says somebody's not a good chef, you're not just going to be like, oh, there you go, well, he's a bad chef. And our world respects success. But my point is that he's a very successful person. I just don't really respect his chefing skills in most manners. I'm sure there are some things he could do better than me, without a doubt. But just in general terms, that's what we all care about, right, guys? Budget Monk's opinion on Gordon Ramsay. That's what we're here for. 99%. I wonder if we can just knock this guy out really quickly, because we're not going to have the overextension. Let's do it before he makes a friend. Yeah, and it's interesting, guys. Like, I think personally, if you do pretty much anything, like, I try, it's just sort of my philosophy, it's whatever, but I just try to, whatever I'm doing, I just try to do it well. Like, I think that's pretty reasonable. People could see why that is. But I think even things that most people would consider mundane, you can learn things of, like a principle. And you'd be surprised how applicable it is to other things. Like, there's some people who are so rich and wealthy in this world. Few people. But there are people who are so rich and wealthy that they, have never done the dishes. They've never washed the dishes. And I think that's an interesting thought, because these people are often revered to the extent that they might have like an inflated opinion of themselves or something like that. But often, believe it or not, they might be stupid. And what I mean is a very specific type of stupidity, which is essentially tied to experience. Right? Because I think that experience trumps like everything else personally. Like, I think that all the things in our society, like getting a whatever, a diploma, a degree, or whatever, it is supposed to... It's like the next best thing, right? It's like, how do you hire somebody if they don't have the experience, right? You kind of want proof that they have competence. And it varies from thing to thing. Like, if you're a doctor or something or whatever, or maybe like an electrician, maybe you don't want to just cowboy wing it, right? You need specifics to like ensure that you have that knowledge in there. But in many cases, like if I was opening a restaurant or something, I would just ask somebody like, oh, whatever it is, like this convection oven, have you used this before? And I'm gonna know, right? Like, some people, you might be able to BS some people, but you're not gonna be able to BS me, right? Because I work with things like that. And what I'm not looking for a piece of paper that says like, hey, I can cook. I'm looking for him to be like, oh yeah, I've used that before, and actually give me like insight or indications that they've done that before. And I was just saying in reference to like doing the dishes, there's some people who are like so high and mighty, and the society might consider them to be high and mighty because of their achievements. But in other ways, the way that I look at it, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I look at it like a disadvantage. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm distracting myself. I shouldn't have done that. Dummy monk. That's alright. We're overextended for a little bit. Yeah, like I always looked at EU4 like an opportunity, guys, because I noticed that pretty much everything is so oversaturated. And it's a good thing that I really like EU4. But I remember somebody gave me some advice back when I first started getting into it, and I was actually streaming to like a small community, and somebody gave me some advice, and he said that if you play one game, it's gonna be like a curse, because you're gonna get more people to watch, but they only care about that one game. And if you stop playing that one game, you're going to realize that they never cared about you. They only care about the game. And although I see exactly what he's saying, somebody like that, when they're trying to drop knowledge on you, you don't want to like argue with them or whatever. Well, I disagreed with him. I actually do agree with everything he's saying. I could see everything he's saying, but I just view it as a opportunity. Like, I've played EU4 much more than I would have if I didn't think it was a good opportunity. So rather than viewing it as sort of a curse, I viewed it as opportunity. And it might sound dumb, guys, but what I'm trying to say, alright, and keep in mind that I am at least the smartest person that has ever lived by far, but I'm also a really humble monk. So I would never say such a thing, okay? My mother always told me that somebody else can tell you your assets. all right? And I know how highly you guys think of me. So, you know, it just needs to be said. But I view some of the sad, mundane things that you might do in your life as an opportunity. And I think that's part of like self-respect, honestly. I think a lot of people, they seek the approval of others. I'm struggling to articulate what I want to say because it would be really much easier to just be foul-mouthed about it. But some of these people who are so highly acclaimed, you might fall into the trap of thinking that they're really something special. When if you realize that they can't even do basic things, you might have a very different mentality, right? And I actually have thought about that a lot because, yeah, there are different kinds of intelligence, and I think a lot of this world, there's a lot of people who, you know, can't bounce a ball in between their legs, quite frankly. Intellectuals. And a lot of these people have a lot of influence. And a lot of them are very happy and want to maintain the influence, in my opinion. And perhaps that's not the most ideal situation for us to be in as a society. Because I think when push comes to shove and you go back to the basics, I think that people follow strength and not titles. That's what I think. So in other words, all right, if we were all on an island, then nobody cares about your diploma or your degree or you, okay? Everybody just cares about Monk, okay? Monk gets all the women, all right? Just give up. Somebody helping me there? My stack can't be there, but yeah, Trans is there. Monk gets all the women, okay? He gets all the allegiance of the men. All right, calm down. Why? Genetics. That's why. Probably the most arrogant thing I've ever said in my life, but if you guys saw me, okay, outside of this little webcam, you'd be like, touche, touche genetics, I follow you, Monk. It's called good Hungarian genetics, lads. You're just jelly haters. So how are we doing here? How's this guy's enthusiasm? I had to say something controversial, all right, just for the record. I felt like that was too, you know, a little bit tame there. So let's just, you know, cut to the chase. Monk is genetically superior, all right, guys. Sorry about that. Why are you happy? Why are you content in this war, mate? Are you engaging somewhere at sea? Yeah, he is. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm going to have to cut back on how much land I'm taking from him, though. I feel like these trading companies are doing fine. Right? Last time I checked, I think they are. Let's just quickly check. Yep. Yep, they're just fine. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to force the rants, though, guys, because I'll just get repetitive and stuff. But there'll be some ranting. Let's have a rant real quickly about how Twitch has... Twitch sucks nowadays. It's sad. Even just like 2 years ago when I wanted to kind of stream, Twitch was way better than it is now in the terms of like freedom of speech and stuff. It's sad. Like, Twitch is so bad, in fact. Some of you might disagree that it's bad, but that's just my opinion. But it is so bad, in fact, that I could express my opinion about Twitch here in this video and I never get partnered on Twitch because they literally look at your other content and judge whether it is you know, it's not whether it's criminal or not or anything. It's their own discretion. It's quite unclear. It is quite clear, but it's. I mean, I know exactly what they want and exactly how they want you to behave, but it's not clear in the sense that there's not any rational logic behind it. It's not don't say these words or anything like that. But yeah, they can literally look at my content, decide they don't like me because I'm thinking and expressing myself, and then you're no longer welcome on their website. It's pretty sad. It's a long shot from when I the first Twitch streamer that I ever watched was called Moon Meander, and he played a MOBA game which I still play occasionally today, which personally I think is by far the most enjoyable MOBA, although I feel like it's degraded over time, which is called Heroes of New Earth. And he's a little Asian lad, Moon Meander, and he was absolutely hilarious because he would basically play the game, and it is a MOBA game after all, but playing like some of you probably know Sand King from Dota. He'd be playing a hero like that, right? Like a powerful hero, AoE, and he'd make a huge play, come and kill the whole team. But as he's doing it, he would because he could see it coming, he would stand up and he'd play music while he makes the play and then tear his shirt off. Absolutely hilarious. If you guys know Moon Meander, because he went pro in Dota, in the team OG, and that's cool because I was proud of him. Because he just stuck with Heroes of New Earth for a long time and it was not a good career move. And then he went to Dota and he's a noob basically. He has to learn a whole new game. But he did well for himself ultimately in the end. But my point is that that Twitch then decided you can't take your shirt off, and they've gone. I think you can to some extent now. They're a little bit eased up on that, but it's just sad. It's just sad, the decline. I think it's sad. Because in some ways I think Twitch is worse than ever. But if you talk about it, you're gutted. It's one of the things you can't do. So I'm going to stop. Yeah, feels good. Self-censorship, that's what it's all about. Where should we drop our new cheeky merchant? So we got 2 merchants, and technically 3 because this Caribbean nation has colonies here to expand itself. Pretty cool. 3 merchants out of Colombia, soon to be 4 from New Granada. We're going to have merchants coming out of our ears. Yeah, it is. I do find it sad though, guys, because I am an extremely unusual person. And I would only talk about this at all in this format because I know some of you guys are, it's a little bit more intimate here. I've said that before. But I just to be clear and warning you guys, I am extremely unusual. Extremely. I do not have the same opinion as other people on just about anything. And I'm not saying that I'm right or I'm smart or anything like that, but I'm actually notorious. Whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, one thing that anybody who knows me would vouch for is that if you ask me something, I'm gonna give you an original response. It's not going to be somebody regurgitating the same information that they've heard before, repeating. If you ask me something, if I don't know anything about the subject matter, if I've never thought about it before in my life, I'm going to be I don't know. But that's not often the case. Often the case, I am a sort of deliberate person. I have thought about something, and I'm going to tell you something that you probably have never even heard before. I don't know why that is. I mean, you guys are just hearing from me, so maybe you don't believe me. But I seem to have some crazy capacity for individual thought. I don't know why. But with that in mind, I think that people nowadays are like really, really, really sensitive. It's weird. When I was like growing up, I mean, you could just say like whatever you wanted. And maybe that's part of the reason I am how I am. But it doesn't seem like that anymore. Like, people have basically given me death threats and stuff on my channel because they assume my political allegiance in the United States. And it's like, the hell? Like, I haven't said anything political, even during the, like, political elections or whatever, the presidential elections. I haven't said anything endorsing anybody or anything. But people, it's like they assume, based off of the things that I said, who I would vote for if I could vote, which I haven't, right? Because I can't. It's like, how, I was about to say the R word, how dysfunctional is that, guys? It's like, oh my goodness, if he was in America, he would have voted for Trump. So they like threaten my life. It's like, mate, first of all, I mean, I'm not going to digress into that conversation, but maybe you're the one with the problem, mate. Threatening people's life. Think about it. It's a little bit beyond them, though. Most people. But this, with that kind of environment, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because I want to be honest with you guys and just express myself. I think different opinions and thoughts are pretty cool, quite frankly, but some people are like, he did not conform. And that includes the websites nowadays. Feels bad, man. So what we'll do, we'll play the games, and we'll just pretend, guys, that we're just game players. That's all we are. Right? No self-autonomous thoughts here, lads. None at all. One thing I am concerned about is sort of like politicizing my own content and stuff, because I know, like I just said, like that stuff's going on like crazy, and I think people would like a break from it, you know? It's like, really? I'm gonna watch how I'm trying to improve my EU4 swagger skills, right? And this guy's talking about Trump. Oh my goodness. And for the record, guys, just to set the record straight, I wouldn't have voted for him. Everybody's like, oh, do you know why? Do you know why? Because he's not deplorable enough. Okay, that's why. Damn it. So how does that make you feel? He's not deplorable enough. Alright, I want to see more. Way more. So calm down, guys. There we go. That's a good gotcha, guys. Alright. Not even nearly deplorable enough for Monk's liking. I guess this is just going to be... no, see, I'm debating you guys now, because it's not going to be. But I was going to say, this is just Monk's ranting hour, right, guys? This is what the series has become. So who? Who leaves? This guy, we upgraded him. Ugh, just keep him. Oh, that's so long of one unrest. We just upgraded him to 4. Discipline's good as well. Feels good, man. Can't be upgraded. God dang it, game. You just gotta go full deplorable, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's how I feel. Just gotta go full deplorable all day. Like me in real life, guys. That's how I am. What? You thought Monk's a nice guy? Wrong. Deplorable. Right? I go around attacking grannies. Right? That's my favorite pastime. Elderly abuse. Didn't you know? I don't know where I'm going with this. Usually I have some deep, sophisticated insight, guys. But it's all just about the elderly abuse here today. Alright, so should I tick up? I think I should tick up. I think we'll cancel these. Get that last admin efficiency. I think that's pretty efficient, but we've got to start hustling again. If I break through, we'll have to kind of make a colony here. How's our truces gone? Yeah, that's alright. His occupations are annoying though. They have the fact that he's occupied so badly. Looks like Malwa's almost done though. Alright, we'll do Delhi, Trans, Malwa, Bahmanis. We got a lot going on. If we do Delhi next, we've got to be... I mean, there's no more admin efficiency to be gained. Theoretically, we don't really need admin tech at all. So, yeah. Got to be, hopefully, really efficient at spending these points now. Which means war. We're well and truly on the homeward stretch. And in some ways, it's a little bit boring. But the last admin efficiency feels really nice. And Portugal just jumped up. How about we... I was going to end the episode there. But let's just finish off the Portuguese. The Portuguese. The Porto homies. And we're going to get heaps of rewards for doing that. When I go to war, I'm going to start some of these wars. Start eliminating some of these independent nations out here. There's no reason for them to exist. These were slaves, I think. Yeah. Slavery is abolished, so we inherited some. The Portuguese did not inherit slavery. It did not abolish slavery, so... Alright, now... we're going to have a lot to manage here, as usual. Definitely going to state both of these up, I would say. That's going to benefit us big time in the meantime, giving us more influence here. Wow, so much money. This is going to be huge. But that's going to be next episode. We just got 5 merchants. Jeez, man, tons of navy, I imagine. Yeah, awesome. That's cool. And we actually have a relation slot. So, next episode, we're going to go ahead and do a client state. That's what I want to do. Because this territory up here, we don't really gain much from this. And we can give them the whole Ruski culture group. That'd be cool. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next episode.